to get your body in front of somebody and seal them off, kind of like you're boxing somebody out in basketball. It's hard to get around you and get the block. If the pass is placed out in front where only you can reach it, defender's only choice is to come through you, and of course that's not allowed. That'd be a foul for certain, so good receivers can seal you out. Okay, Condors receiving, a good pull. They kept this one in. 2 passes off. Looks like UPA has it. JD's looking around. Horizontal stacking, constant movement. Wait for the poached receiver to break free. Burfine's looking for it and gets it. And they're working kind of a Plinko offense here, just trying to keep it moving against this squirrely D matching their squirrely cuts. Cut-up line's not there. Late arriving swing, but defender was so far off. Oh, and a great put. Or is it so great? But 6'5". Burfine gets it. Give and go back and forth, and that's the second upwind break this half for the Condors.
Scores now knotted at 10s. That was a great grab. He went up against 2 furious defenders, came down with it, and again, you see it over and over. Immediate, quick releases. Nothing fancy. They just zip it right into the end zone.
Keeping it moving. All right, so Furious set to receive with their starting offense. Husak pulls it, gives it a little less of an angle, aimed farther to the away sideline and kept it in. Alexander starts it. Savage is around the disc, but Lugsden gets it. He looks flick back to the backhand side. Mark Roberts kicks it back out. Nice movement, good low release. Firing to Grant, good backhand. Crookshank. Looking lefty flick. They're giving him that, but for a moment Alexander and his defender took it away. But can Grant reel this in? No! Great effort, but that was getting pushed down by that wind. You could see by the edge that was up. That was a outside edge up, and the wind coming across the field was just beating on that disc. It was going to push it down in a hurry. It takes a lot of years, Tina, doesn't it, to develop a knowledge of what the disc is going to do in the wind and what angle you have to give it, what you can get away with, how hard you have to throw it, how much spin.
Absolutely. I always welcome when we have a windy practice, even though some of the kids may say, oh, I don't want to throw, it's too windy. An ultimate player wants to get better, absolutely has to go and throw in the windiest conditions.
Well, there we have it. They get it off the line with the first look. Condor player is point blocked, but there's a foul called. Looks like Brian. Mike Rannis, whoa, he's applying pressure on the mark there. He's sure pushing in close. There's not a lot of disc space. You're supposed to give the diameter of the disc. That's much space is supposed to separate you and who you're guarding. He's pushing it, but now he's backing out a little bit, but applying pressure. Brian gets it out of there. And they're running a very spread out, swirly, some horizontal cuts from downfield. I mean, cuts from a horizontal stack downfield. I should say, great catch. Looks like Husak putting it up. Can the receiver keep to that? Oh, too much, a bit too much arm and still a bit too much wind. Usually a disc tends to slow down at the end of its flight. Even if that did it all, it wasn't enough to allow the receiver to make up ground. No matter how hard you train for acceleration, that's when you need it. You didn't have enough.
It's also hard to read a disc that's coming in over your head. You're not allowed, it doesn't allow you to sprint as fast as you can, and that was going to be a tough catch.
So Kirk Savage will run it up to the flick sideline. Got a flat force, spreading things out, making him go spray the disc back and forth across the field. Good no call by Derek. He wants to keep it moving. Grant gets the backhand off. There's Oscar Pottinger, the other young player from the 2000 Canadian National Juniors team. He's a stellar player. Mark Roberts has it now. Shows backhand a couple times. Cruikshank fakes up the line. Instead breaks back to Grant. Steps around, puts a flick. I think it's a lot more air than he intended. This one's going to be a jump ball. And Mark Roberts pulls it down. That was a great save of a pass that I'm sure Mike Grant would like to have back. As they moved it up the field very, very well. This pass goes up, and luckily Mark Roberts goes up first, gets in good position, sealed his defender from behind. He sealed him, went up first. That's what you're going to have to do, and ripped it.
That puts Furious up 11-10. That's Mike Grant's 5th assist and Roberts' 4th goal.
Okay, so Furious set to pull. Condors got to look to break back. Nichols puts up the pull. About 3 yards deep. Burfine hits Dugan. Oh, great layout by a poach. And it's a turn. Furious has it quickly, looking quickly to score. And just as quickly look to get it off the line and reverse the field. But, oh, the poaching defenders alert. Can the line hold it? No. The wind was not going to allow. It was going to stay in the air long enough. A little float, and Evan might have had a chance to pull that one in.
It was a good look, however. The Condors collapsed on what they thought was the intended receiver. There's plenty of space, just a little bit too much edge on that disc.
And a few too many players collapsed, it looked like. Well, they took a shot. Now the Condors with Steve Dugan approaching the line to put it in play. Looks like Savage is going to be on the mark. And that's Evan Wood. Gets it off to the middle, and the Steets continues. Reaches around and back for the flick, but that caught way too much air. Ooh, but the Condors in a crowd pull it down. Ouch. That's why those in the wind sometimes, no matter how well intended your throw is, even the best mechanics sometimes can't overcome the wind or a slight change. So the disc bounces up a little higher, goes over the intended receiver, and now we've got a situation where several people converging from different angles. And you get situations like concussions can occur. Let's hope that didn't happen to JD on this one. He's definitely took a shot in the head from an elbow perhaps, or a shoulder. All right, he's okay. And quickly gets the ice bag. So JD will sub off. The Condors can bring on a player. Well, definitely will have to bring on a player. This allows an opportunity for Furious to match a substitution here. Could be anyone they want. Take any one of their players. Put a fresh one on the field to run hard D. Dugan, center field. It's back to the backhand. Another one hopped, but Burfine, boy, it's up in the air forever, and he just stands there, and eventually everybody else comes back to the earth. Steets has it now, and it's out in front of space. There you go. Wow, Burfine just got that by virtue of being tall. Everybody else was jumping. Oh, it's going back. We've got a call. Grant didn't feel he was able to get a clean launch up for that disc. They're kind of laughing about it. Looks like they're going to work it out. But Tommy looked like he was just standing there. Everybody else went up, and he just said, well, I'll wait for you guys to come down the disc too, and I'll just catch it here. That goal is negated. As they work this out, they're in the red zone. the Condors are, and as they set up here, a big upwind opportunity for them, when they don't want to squander. So, funny thing about sometimes a call like this and a discussion takes a little bit of focus out of what you need to do when it gets checked back in. You only want the people there that have a say in the matter or need to. Your captain works it out, or whoever's in play. Keep other people out, focused. What are they going to do if disc comes back in play?
We saw this happen in the Masters final. Because it was so contentious, and there's a proliferation of calls, particularly in the second half, I think it really took Oldham the way out of their game. And you can blame a team for making too many calls, but considering where the sport is now, it's up to your team to not let it get under your skin.
And perhaps only make calls when they're actually legitimate. Okay, we're going to put it back in play here. Dugan has it. And there's still some discussion. He's got Evan Wood on the mark. He's bouncing around trying to stay low. Dugan gets that backhand across the mark off. Okay, back to, okay. Sidaris has it, had another foul on the mark. Another foul on the mark here. As they work this out, and we're set to get it started again. Sidaris gets a big backhand off. Puts it out in space in front of Steets. Not in, though. He's in bounds, but just outside the goal line. Quickly looks to throw back across the field to an open Dugan. There's the upwinder we were talking about, hoping they'd get.
Now tied at 11s. That was Brandon Steets' third assist and Steve Dugan's second goal, both of them in this half.
Okay, we'd hate to see it happen, but there's a possibility they might have to time cap this game to keep it within the time frame that the tournament had set up.
You know, there's lots of reasons they might have to time cap it. People have flights to catch. I know the UPA is going to want to have a appropriately long award ceremony. There's rental cars to return. So unfortunately, even though the rabid Ultimate fans won't understand ending a game when it's sunny and there's a field, it's clearly something they're going to have to do.
Well, here we go. Furious gets it off with Alexander starting it, receiving the pull. Got to Cruikshank, back to Cruikshank here. Some physical marking going on. He steps up and cranks a lefty flick an awful long ways in that breeze. It stalls out, and there's a play made on it by both the receiver and defender. Nothing called. Namkin picks it up. His first pass is hotly contested by Andrew Lugsden. Nice break. Okay, Cruikshank is forcing him sort of flat. Going with a flat force. Well, that pivot foot is really dragging there. He does get it off, but just beyond the outstretched hand of Taylor Casino. Oh, I think the defender has tweaked an ankle, perhaps. There was no travel called on that huck, Tina, but the pivot to the forehand side, then back to the backhand to give him momentum to get that throw off. I don't know if you noticed, but his foot went about a foot, at least a foot to the right when he pivoted the forehand, and then when he went back to the backhand, he went about 2 feet the other way. His pivot foot was definitely dragging. Well, it's tough. You don't want to watch feet as a defender, but that did give him an advantage to get that around the flat mark.
Although it was clearly obvious that he did not want that throw. You know, he looked pained after he threw it. And once he hits 33 or beyond and plays the Masters, he'll never be able to get away with that throw again.
Good point. All right, Furious is going to put it in play from deep in their own zone and right in the corner. So Taylor's going to apply the mark here. Dugan gives him a word of advice. He's going to be in position to help the marker maneuver and be the eyes in the back of his head. Okay, a quick shot off the line. Now Nichols doesn't have a lot happening. It goes back across the field again. Well placed to Lugsden. It's a big receiver. It's nice to have big receivers. Grant gets it, looks up line to continue. It's a pass off to get it back towards center. Alexander getting down low. It's a very low release. Good effort on D there, but Grant secures the disc by going strong to it. Okay, we got a foul on the mark.
And one of the things that I like about both these teams is they give really genuine long cuts. And you have to go with them. You have to keep them honest. And as soon as they get them onto the other side, they'll come under.
Well, they're off giving lots of options to Derek. And Drew sends it out to Grant. Got a flat mark who's nowhere near him yet, but he did stop to continue. That's effective. Nichols gets it in the middle. From Alexander, it's a good place to be. Again, working back and forth. That's about all that's working at this point, but I think we've had a pick call. Alexander has it about 10 yards out. Shaded slightly toward the flick side of the field. Oh, it decided that it was before the throw to him, so it goes back to Nichols, even in better position of the middle. And he throws it right back to Derek Alexander, who steps around, can't get that one off. Marking is really heating up. These guys are really making passes upfield difficult. Nichols has it again. Okay, you hear the call, no open side, but it's sort of a flat mark. What is the open side? That could be either on a flat mark. They're sort of shading to the backhand side now. They're choosing a side at the end zone, which is wise. And they're overplaying there. You notice, they were letting them go back and forth across the field, but when they got close enough, they could take one shot to the end zone. They switched to a backhand force.
Yep.
If it was backhand before, it wasn't discernible. Okay, it's definitely a backhand force. Savage looks up. He hits Nichols. Doesn't have much happening. Tight spot. Gets the backhand off. Grant comes screaming across. Beats the defender for the upwinder.
That puts Furious up 12-11. It was a great shot of that throw to the end zone. The disc was there hovering for a split second, the green background, and all of a sudden Mike Grant zoomed into view. It's a beautiful example of throwing to space.
Okay, Furious got the upwind break. There have been a lot more of those in the second half, Tina. Now they're pulling downwind. Gives them advantage, up 12-11. Can the Condors answer with a upwinder of their own?
Yeah. It's getting into the twilight of the game.
Wow, some hot action here. Looks like there's a foul. Perhaps a pick. Okay, look, JD has it. A shot to the head. Apparently didn't affect him. He throws one out in space. Ooh, that was a dangerous, dangerous situation.
You know, I've said this before, but the throw up the line where someone can poach in and get someone in their blind spot is really dangerous.
Looks like it was dangerous for Melner there as he's leaving the field. He walked off promptly and laid down on it's like a massage table, trainer's table, and he seems to be in some pain. Wonder if there was a prior injury there. Okay, a timeout called on that. So, Furious will have the disc at about midfield. Chance to get a downwind break.
you notice the starting seven or the seven that's on the field for Furious is talking, and the rest of the team is just forming a wall, trying to get the energy up, not getting involved in the call because there's no need to have 19 people discussing what to do. Condors are doing the same thing. The Condors pose appears to be a little bit more nervous or concerned. It's really hard to strike a balance between being up and being focused and confident and not going into the land of being goofy. Maybe this doesn't matter for these men, but certainly when you're coaching high school boys, I'm sure you have the same experiences I've had, Michael.
Absolutely. But I see at all levels that sometimes a timeout is the right thing to do, but sometimes you come out flat after timeouts, just like after half. You have to practice coming out of those timeouts and stoppages of play, long lulls where you can kind of lose a little bit of intensity. Don't let it affect you in that way. You can practice that in your practice sessions. Call timeouts. Put timeouts in your scrimmages, in your inter-squad scrimmages. Intra-squad scrimmages, pardon me. Well, let's see how Furious comes out after this one. Condors have got to stand strong here. Furious is on the dance floor, right at about brick, not far from the red zone. Okay, notice they set people far away from the line. Nobody's isolated over there. They want to just get some good movement and get it off the line. That's what they did. Right there at center field. Break, but it went straight to the defender. There was some miscommunication between the thrower and receiver there. He definitely was open. It almost looked like he could have caught that as well.
Yeah, he didn't know it was coming.
And John Frame kind of got frozen, maybe by a pivot or a fake, or took his eye off the thrower for a moment. And now Dugan's going to put it in play. Condors got it back. They got to be happy with that. Sidaris has it. Second flick. He's talking to teammates. Switches to the lefty backhand instead of the short flick. Some people like that. Real short flicks are sometimes difficult for people. He's willing to use his lefty backhand for short breaks like that. And a little high release backhand. Okay, we got another call here, stopping play.
I wonder if Sidaris covers that in his book.
I'll have to read it and see. Okay, they've sorted this out. Isak gets it off. JD's got it. High backhand to break the mark. I think we've had a pick, but it was in the air. So it stays with James Sidaris. Okay, Wood is on the mark. Flat mark. Making him have to spray to the sides. Keeping it going. Steeds has it now. Lateral cut from Burfine, it appears. Ooh, trouble right in the crowd. I think Dugan was surprised that made it through the crowd untouched as it bounced off his hands. So have a discussion on the throw.
Yeah, things are getting a little sloppy, a little cranky.
Yep, and perhaps, like in the other games we've seen, certainly that Masters final, as they're getting tired, it's a little harder to complete the passes. The marks perhaps get a little more physical because they're certainly knowing that the end of the game is near and they want to be on the top end of the score. Okay, they've sorted it out, Tina, and looks like there's no call was ruled, and it was indeed a turnover. Right at the goal line, Furious has the win at their back. Steve Dugan on the mark. A couple pump fakes. Okay, Allen gets the pass off. Back to Cowan, and they're working that sideline, trying to get it off. Condors are doing a good job of keeping them in there. There's not a lot of space. Oh, we've had a call. Okay, look at how they've spaced things out with a L stack here. One cut up line. The other goes back for dump. And Condors are not giving everything up. Grant takes a shot up line. Completes it. Frame gets it off. Another stoppage of play. What's a call here, Tina?
My guess it was some kind of pick.
A lot of stoppage here. Might be that sometimes you have a couple turnovers. People are getting out of position. You got pick calls against your offense. Well, Wood has it now. First look to get it off the line. And here goes a big shot.
Okay.
Going toe to toe. Grant's out in front. Wow, he goes up first, but he doesn't get it. No call. Or is there? Well, looks like Husak doesn't agree.
They're going to discuss it. You know, I thought he went up early.
Yep, I thought Grant misread it. Perhaps it hung a little longer than he thought it might.
Or, you know, maybe he was Husak was on his back, hit his leg.
Well, they graciously accept the call. Mike Grant does, that is, and Husak's pleased with the observer's ruling there, and they drop the disc appropriately right where it occurred, and Dugan will again walk it up. This very deliberate stride, tipping nothing. He could dart to the line in a second, but no, he's going to walk. There he goes, what did I tell you? And, ooh, a big fake on that crank, but instead he breaks inside. Wow, crowded area, and again, oh, that's tough. Okay, oh, and wow. Both these teams just need to settle. Here's a good time for a timeout. A block comes out of nowhere from the poached defender. Oh, boy.
Oh, that looked pretty clean to me.
C.J. Harmer came out of nowhere for the poach block. Wow, he just shot from out of frame. For those of you viewing, for those of us here, and just catapulted across in front of the receiver. The intended receiver was Steve Dugan. He's claiming he had the disc in his hand and it's a strip. But no, the ruling by the observer is that that was a clean block.
Okay, that brings the number of turnovers on this point to 6.
6 turnovers. They're fighting hard here. Sometimes the points are ugly. Winning the ugly ones is just as important. Wow, another huge bid in the end zone. JD's not happy about the call if there is one. He's saying there's no foul. John Frame was the receiver. Okay, so they sort this one out. I notice as things are also more bottled up as we get near the end zone, it's just not all the big sweeping cuts and the space are diminished. You're running out of room, you're running out of options, and of course the defense has a say in the matter. They're going to the places where you don't have much room to go. They're trying to take everything away. So Tina, if they retain possession here, Furious, what do you like to see in this? They're all boxed up close.
Yeah, they got to go visit the back of the end zone, back corner, in the middle.
Might be looking hammer. Nope. Thinking hammer to Grant back there, but instead, much easier option present itself, and good to see these guys work out that call so quickly.
That was a pretty painful point, though. Furious is now up 13-11.
So they're holding serve downwind. The upwind points are hard to come by. They certainly were in the first half. They've been more plentiful in the second half. Okay, so Furious will put it in play with, try to close this out with their best defense. So again, we mentioned something about the cap, and at 13-11, we're not certain if they're going to put it on. The game is supposed to go to 17, but we may not get there if they decide to shorten this one up.
And because there's been so much scoring, I don't have the watch on the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got the cap call pretty soon.
And points have been long. Those flat marks, the spread Ds, junk things have, several more turnovers than I think these teams are normally happy putting up. It's made it a longer game. Okay, so Furious pulls. They're hoping for an upwind break. Condors going to try to hold serve coming down and draw within 1. Okay, Dugan gets the disc off. And to Steets, okay, it looks like there's a pick call. Okay, it's going to be put back in play. Well, we've got another violation. I think Condors are not happy with where the Furious fellas are, or the other way around. Somebody's out of position. Okay, as they check the disc back in. Got a backhand break. The lefty backhand. Hamkin puts it up a little high, but Sigaris is ready for it. We've had another, looks like some traffic problems here. It's getting cluttered. Okay, Savage is on the mark. Sigaris is being given his flick. Can he get a break? Throws a big fake in order to get a break off. It's a great way to get the fake off. They're moving it well. Good defense up front. I think we have some contact on between the receiver and the defender, a bit more than is allowed. Steets has the disc. And they're looking downfield to figure things out. It is interesting how these discussions get a bit longer, not just late in the game in a close game, but because it's late in the game. And well, there's the cap horn. So we know that following this point, well, the cap is going to be effectively on. It'll either be a gain of 15, or since that's what the game will be too, with the Condors scoring here. Is that correct, Tina?
Yep, absolutely. Game's 13-12, game to 15. And I hear the boos of the crowd. They are not happy. You know, hundreds of people look forward to coming to Club Nationals all year long. It's the last game of the tournament. It's still sunny and warm. And a lot of people don't want it to end.
They've got a 13-12 score. They want to see this played out to 17. There's still opportunities for the lead to, change. So we'll have to see. Now we know it's a game to 15, adding to the top scorer. So Furious has the win at their back to get 1 point closer to the UPA title. Condors need a big pull from Greg Husak here and hope to get an upwind break. There's the pull, great extension, tremendous strength. It's going to stay in bounds. It does, and it's several yards deep. It's a great pull, Tina. Good start on D for Condors.
Yeah, I like that form on that Husak guy.
Okay, Ludson is working hard. Grant finds him. And there we have a put out in front. There must be a call, or else no chance of getting it. Oscar set up his cut well, but it's just too much on. I think there was a double move, and he misread what Ludson was going to do with the disc. Miscommunication there. Well, this gives an opportunity to the Condors. get the upwind break they need to tie the score. Pottinger on the mark. Okay, Grant's poaching off. Husak trying to be a factor on other receivers. Big bid on D there. Come up a little bit short. Spreading things out. Trying to give their cutters more room to work with, but there's no room. There's plenty of room, but the receiver wasn't up to the task of covering the space. And Furious gets the score.
Quick and easy score. Condors 12, Furious at game point.
That's Lugsden's 4th goal of the game. Assist goes to Cruikshank, I believe. Game point Furious. Now the Condors have the win at their back, Tina. I mean, you just got to think, take care of the disc here. We're not going to give it up. We're going to do what we should do on offense. We're going to score. We have the help of the wind at our backs. Although it's been tricky sometimes, it's somewhat going across the field, but they should score. And the tough thing is, get through this point. We'll do that first, then think about the upwind break.
Anyone on their team who's still angry about the cap is not going to be able to give it his all on the field.
But they're in the wrong time zone. They're not in the here and now. They got to be ready to perform at their best right now. Got their plan. Looks like Nichols will be pulling. Okay, the observers coming out and giving the team the information they need to know, probably in regards to their timeouts in cap. As they sort that out, this could be game point for Furious. It is game point for Furious. It could be over if they get the big upwind break. But this could come down. And it's going to be an exciting finish either way, but I got to figure that the Condor is going to be up to this.
What do you think they're talking about? You think they're still talking about the cap?
Well, I think timeouts here. They each have one in cap. They need to make sure of what the situation is. They want to know. They don't want to make a careless mistake. And they want to make sure all the players on the field are fully aware, and those off the field, to keep reminding them.
I like how the Condors immediately got about 2 discs on the field. Keep loose, not stand around grumbling, keep moving those muscles. I'm going to be stealing that idea for long timeouts in the spring of '04.
Yeah, as we noticed, they were sometimes tossing it between points. I'm glad you commented on that. Certainly it's what you're about to be doing, so why, rather than standing there, why not start getting tuned up for what you're going to have to do in a moment? Some of them are even trotting around a little bit, so they're going to be ready to do it at full speed.